All right, hello, and welcome to yet another installment of Bree's Bestiary, where I pick an animal that I want to talk about, and I frickin' talk about it because this is my show. welcome, one and all. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and somebody's upstairs doing something crazy. There's some thumping. So yeah, I'm going to be diving into. It's funny because we just did. This won't be lined up with it, but we just did the live from the Hive. We just did the fire ant video from Silent Spring and stuff, in the eradication program that nearly wiped out all the birds in North America. Anyway, and today I'm talking on Bree's Bestiary about an animal that has, in modern times, around the same time of the period that we're talking about, became another invasive species in North America. But that's not the main focus, right? We will talk about how they fare in North America, but we're talking, of course, about the iguana, the green iguana specifically, and they are now found pretty much all over southern Florida, but it does get cold there, and sometimes they do fall from the trees. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history with iguanas. So, my dad didn't like snakes, but he loved lizards and turtles. It's kind of a weird thing since lizards are snakes, but or sorry, since snakes are lizards, I said that backwards. That we ended up getting, because me and my brother, we were really into animals. I still am, obviously. You see all the animals behind me. So, but we had lots of herps, frogs and turtles and lizards, all mostly wild caught, but we get some from the pet shop too. And when I was about, I want to say 8 years old, we went to the pet shop and we bought this little iguana. It's got this big, cute little thing, right? Adorable. Got a little aquarium for it. It's completely vegetarian, so it's like, oh, you don't even have to worry about feeding it bugs or anything. You have to just feed it with literally the table scraps and stuff from when you're making the vegetables for dinner that night. You know, it'll eat everything from peppers to strawberries. You chop it up and feed it to it, it's going to eat them. And we named her Godzilla. You named it Godzilla. It was. We didn't know if it was male or female, so it grew up, and boy, did it grow up. So we had it for years, and it kept growing and getting bigger, and kept having to buy bigger aquariums for it. And eventually, we got too big for any aquarium at all that they sold, like on the market, that wasn't, ten or thousands of dollars. So my dad literally built it a screen. You used PVC pipes and mesh screen, and made it this huge cage. It was like the size of a human casket. More like I guess more like a refrigerator when you stood up on its side. When we put it outside, sometimes we'd lay it long way and sometimes we'd stand it up, but there was like branches and stuff in there for it to climb on. And Godzilla got huge. Godzilla turned out to be female, so she didn't get as big as a male would of her age. She's actually probably about the same size as the one you're seeing on screen right now. She was a big, about as big around as I don't know, a paper towel roll at her fattest, but a toilet paper roll. And she was pretty sweet. She did have her moods, but she bit my dad on the nose once. So I grew up with iguanas in the house, or in the house and in the yard. We ended up, after, because we loved Godzilla so much, we ended up investing into building stuff. So we got more iguanas, right? We got new iguanas. JJ and I think my brother named his Ganji when he had one. So we had and JJ actually turned out to be male, but JJ didn't get full grown. JJ got not now. This is a full grown male right here. There's a few things a few ways you can tell, but I think mostly prominently is that the spikes on the top of the head are a lot taller, and the dewlap will be broader and more colorful. Like, let's see, let me compare this. So here's your male. So he's got these taller spines, and there's this ridge that they come off of that runs down the back of the head. He's also got the dewlap's a lot bigger, and the males tend to have more of this orange color, especially during mating season, whereas a female, like, looks more like, that's not a very good picture of her, but got a better angle of her. These lips are small. Here's that one's dead. Yeah, it's not a very good picture of her, but females will have narrower heads and less prominent dewlaps. So, anyway, I was just playing this while I was talking about growing up with iguanas. But yeah, we take them on walks with leashes, and they climb trees and stuff. Godzilla was the one that got the biggest. She was the one we had the longest. She lived with us for, let's see, I was 8 to 15, 16 maybe. So about 8 years maybe. It seems like it was longer than that because she was huge. We had her for a while though. She actually got killed by a dog. Unfortunately, you'll find dogs are pretty good at killing iguanas. Cats are not. Cats are iguanas are kind of a cat's weakness. The one animal that cats has low hit points against. But let me see here. We already watched that through. I just wanted to talk a little bit about how iguanas came to North America, because they're not native here. Florida has the unfortunate distinction of being the global epicenter of non-native reptiles due to intentional and unintentional actions of people. The state's mild climate, abundance of rainfall, expansive areas modified by humans, numerous international ports of entry, sea and air, as well as a thriving exotic pet trade all contribute to reptile invasions. Historically, the introduction of reptiles into Florida was unintentional. Reptiles were stowaways on ships and cargo. The first documented reptile introduced to Florida was the brown anole, Anolis sagri, in the late 1800s. The small lizard likely arrived accidentally in shipments of cargo originating from Cuba. Since then, more than 150 additional non-native reptile species have been documented in Florida, the vast majority of which were brought there through the reptile pet trade. Although most introductions do not result in the establishment or breeding population of non-native reptiles, many do. Of those species that become established, some thrive and expand, eventually becoming invasive. We define an invasive species of reptile as one that is not native to a specific geographic region, in this case, the state of Florida, and was introduced by the intentional or unintentional actions of humans, and does or can cause harm to the environment, economy, or human quality of life. So that kind of makes it sound like armadillos up here could be considered invasive because they weren't here 10 years ago, and now they are through the direct actions of humans via climate change. But we don't call armadillos invasive, do we? Because they came here naturally under their own migration patterns. A well-known example of the invasive reptiles in Florida is the Burmese python. The large species of snake was imported for the exotic pet trade, and by way of escape and or purposeful release, the pets became established in the Everglades. Scientific studies have shown invasive pythons have caused severe decline in native mammals in the Everglades and have introduced parasites affecting Florida's native snakes. Further, federal agencies have spent millions of dollars to manage impacts of pythons and prevent them from expanding into ranges further north than the peninsula and south into the Florida Keys. Also wanted to say hi, AJ. Good morning. I saw you pop in here earlier. Good to see you, friend. And how to rule an asteroid. Good to see you. Good to see ya. Thank you guys for sticking around and hanging out with me. The publication summarizes general knowledge about the green iguana in Florida. It is one in the series of similar publications showcasing a suite of commonly seen or unique introduced reptiles that are established in the state. The biology and impact of some of these species are well known, whereas others are poorly studied. This fact sheet and others in the series were produced by undergraduate students in the course Invasion Ecology of Amphibians and Reptiles, which was taught in the fall semester of 2020 at the University of Florida. The target audience for all the documents in this series is homeowners and other residents and visitors who are curious about Florida's diverse wildlife. Our goal is to increase knowledge and raise awareness about the many introduced and invasive reptiles in Florida, as well as to motivate people to take action in the fight to curtail the spread of introduced reptiles in the Sunshine State. Identifying a green iguana. All right, so they do have some different varieties, but as the common name suggests, green iguanas are usually green. The juveniles are particularly bright green. Adults vary from bold to dull green, but may be olive or brown in color. Males in breeding condition may even be a striking orange, as we saw in that video previously. This shade varies with temperature, and they tend to be dark during cooler weather and to better absorb the warmth from the sun. So yeah, you can actually lay your hands around an iguana's midsection and move your fingers back, and it'll be dark where your fingers were, and it'll be brighter where your fingers weren't. Pretty cool. You make them look like they have tiger stripes. That's what I used to do, is like lay my hand down on the iguana's back, and it ended up looking like it has stripes. Let's see. Regardless of their color, all green iguanas share several distinguishing features. They have long tails, but relatively short legs with long toes and sharp claws for climbing. Both sexes have a flap of skin hanging from their lower jaw called a dewlap, and a large round scale at the rear of their jaws, as seen in the adult male in figure 6. So it's this ring here, ring there, ring there. There's the figure 6 right there, right there. Yeah, okay, let me go back up in here and read it. As seen in the adult male in figure 6, they also have a row of spike-like scales on their necks, back, and portions of their tail. These scales are typically longer in mature males than in females. Green iguanas grow much larger than any native lizard in Florida. Males can grow to over 6 feet, including the tail, whereas females can reach just over 5 feet. The tails account for as much as 3/4 of their total length. Hatchling green iguanas measure about 7 inches, including the tail. And our iguana got to be, I think she was, when she died, she was like 3 foot 9 inches long. So she's full grown and pretty beefy. She did lose her tail once, and when it grew back, it was black, or just the last, I don't know what you would say, a few inches of it was black. Juvenile and adult green iguanas may be green, but many adults are not green. Yeah, they can be olive color, even a gray, a brownish gray, and then you get the horny males that turn orange. Similar looking species, although no species of native Florida lizard is likely to be misidentified as a green iguana. There are several introduced species that could be mistaken for a green iguana. The black spiny-tailed iguana is established in many of the same areas as the green iguana, namely along the southern Gulf and Atlantic coast. Some of the Florida Keys. In some of the Florida Keys, the two species body plans are similar, but black spiny-tailed iguanas are shorter than green iguanas. Black spiny-tailed iguanas have spines along their back like the green iguana, but they are not as long as those of green iguanas of the same size. As their name implies, spiny-tailed iguanas have rings of sharp pointed scales on their tails. These are not present on green iguanas. Adult black spiny-tailed iguanas are normally brown or gray with several dark bands on their back, but young ones are often green and could be mistaken for a small green iguana. Look at the rows of spines on the tail, and I'm reading like shit this last segment. Sorry, guys. And another introduced species of iguana is the Florida or Mexican spiny-tailed iguana. This is a species that looks almost identical to the black spiny-tailed iguana, and the two can be difficult for scientists to distinguish, but these are what they look like. And you can see their tails have sort of like a crocodile look to them, makes them a little bit more distinct than the green iguana's tail, which we can see here is more serpentine, more snake-like, where theirs is more crocodile textured. Juvenile green iguanas may be confused with introduced night anoles, which also occur in South Florida. Adult night anoles are around 5 to 6.5 inches long, excluding the tail, which is 11. Okay. So roughly the same length as a hatchling green iguana. Both are vibrant green, but the night anole has yellow, sometimes white stripes under its eyes and on its shoulders, and lacks the round scale at the rear of the jaw. The night anole's head is more elongated and arrow-shaped than the head of a green iguana, which is more rounded. I don't know. I couldn't mistake this for a green iguana. That head is way too much of the body. Doesn't mention that in the description, but yeah, its head's like about a third the size of its body. Native range. Green iguanas naturally range from central Mexico to Paraguay and Brazil in South America. They are also native to some Caribbean islands near Central and South American coasts. They occur in tropical forest, dry forest, and savanna habitats, often near water. Mode of introduction. Green iguanas were first introduced to Florida and the Miami area in the early 1960s. As an exotic pet dealer is known to have purposely released more than 300 of them in that area in 1964. Why would you do that, asshole? Since then, additional intentional and unintentional releases of pet iguanas have likely contributed to their spread in peninsular Florida. Green iguanas have been among the most common popular pet reptile in the United States in Florida because they're attractive and relatively easy to care for when they're small. However, they become more difficult to keep, and their cage requirements become more challenging as they grow, making it more likely that they will be intentionally released and contribute to the invasive reptile problem. Florida range and habitat. Based on museum records and numerous observations reported in EDD maps, green iguanas appear to be established in much of central and southern Florida, including the Keys on the mainland. They occur mainly near the coast. The northern extent of their Florida distribution is limited by colder temperatures. In their introduced ranges, green iguanas are common in urbanized landscapes. In addition to thriving in human-modified areas in Florida, like suburban neighborhoods, they also inhabit natural habitats such as mangroves and pinelands. They are common along canals and levees in southern Florida, and their ability to colonize such areas, which can act as corridors for dispersal, has likely contributed to the range expansion. Green iguanas are excellent climbers and prefer areas with trees, but they also occur in places lacking them. They are almost always found near permanent water and are strong swimmers. When startled, they are quick to dive into water, only crawling back onto land when the perceived threat has passed. They are active during the day and are frequently seen on the ground or in trees and shrubs, warming themselves in the sun, basking. In places where they are used in human activity, or they are used to human activities, they will bask on the sidewalk, golf courses. Fuck your golf courses again. Let's reestablish that we are saying fuck your golf courses. I said that more times on this stream than any other. They will also shelter in drainage pipes. No, hold on, we skipped ahead. In places, yeah, blah, blah, blah. At night they sleep in trees of presence, crevices, and rocks, and dig in burrows that they dig. They will also enter shelters in draining pipes, culverts, piles of debris, and similar hiding places created by people. They use their burrows, and other underground refugia as hiding places when they're disturbed by people. And this is the problem when they destroy like retaining walls and stuff, because they dig into them. They dig their burrows into like flood, like levees and things like that, breaking down their integrity. The green iguana is largely herbivorous and eats a variety of plants. They prefer flowers, fruit, tender shoots, and many ornamental plants, but typically avoid citrus and thick-leaved plants. Hatchlings and juveniles eat insects in addition to vegetation. Juveniles and adults have been documented eating tree snails, and adult green iguanas have occasionally eat small vertebrates and bird eggs, and will even scavenge carrion. Yeah, our girl did like a little bit of bugs in her diet. When we would let her outside, she'd eat grasshoppers and stuff. When we have her walking around the backyard. Also, when we'd bring her cage out, they'd get into her cage too. Like most reptiles, the green iguana lays eggs. Females dig relatively shallow nest burrows that are about a foot deep and up to 3 foot long. In their native range, females may nest communally and create a series of connected burrows. They lay approximately 10 to 70 eggs in the nest in their nest burrows, and the eggs incubate for 2 to 3 months without parental care. A study in southern Florida found that males can reach sexual maturity as early as 16 months, and females as early as 24 months. The breeding season in Florida is between December and April, with the hatchlings appearing during the summer. The absence of predators or competitors, the green iguana can live a long time, reaching 15 to 20 years. Because they grow large, adult iguanas have a few predators in Florida other than humans. Domestic dogs will kill adult green iguanas, and American alligators and crocodiles are potential predators, but only the eggs and the very young iguanas are usually at risk of predation. Mammalian predators of green iguana eggs in Florida include gray foxes and likely raccoons. Raccoons will eat hatchlings and very young iguanas, and raccoon predation may suppress iguana population growth under the right circumstances. Additional predators of the very small iguanas include species of birds, as summarized in scientific publications. Negative ecological effects, of course, there's going to be negative ecological effects because we are indeed dealing with an invasive species today. So, green iguanas have been documented using the burrows of Florida's native burrowing owls and gopher tortoises, both of which are listed as threatened species by the state. The presence of iguanas could potentially displace these native species from their burrows. Green iguanas will occasionally eat bird eggs, but to date there's been no scientific evidence that they have harmed bird populations in Florida. Green iguanas are primarily herbivorous and eat flowers, leaves, and fruits of ornamental plants. As a result, they could transport seeds of cultivated plants, including invasive species, into nearby natural areas and undermine efforts to control invasive plants in nature reserves. However, a study of green iguana movement in southeast Florida found that iguanas at least 2 locations did not move very far, suggesting that their impact to natural areas through seed dispersal may be minimal. Gray knickerbean is among the many plants that the green iguana feeds on in South Florida. The species is one of two primarily host plants for caterpillars of the Miami blue butterfly, Cyclaragus thomasi b. Thunkenbakari. Wow, that's quite the name. Which only occurs in Florida and is a federally listed endangered species. The Miami blue prefers to lay its eggs on developing shoots of flowers or flower buds of the knickerbean. The small butterfly has only been found in 3 places in the past 20 years. Key West National Wildlife Refuge, Great Heron National Wildlife Refuge, and Baha'i, I think maybe, Honda State Park. In the early 2000s, green iguanas at Baha'i Honda State Park were eating so much knickerbean that scientists concluded they were depriving the Miami blue butterfly of its food and may have been one of several potential factors contributing to its eventual loss, of the Miami blue population at Baha'i Honda National Park. Impact to people and pets. How much longer is this article? Damn. I had a video I wanted to watch too. After 12:30 now. All right, yeah, we're gonna watch just. Here's somebody that this guy reheats this iguana, and it's cute. All right.
That one? Yeah. Really? Yeah. We're gonna go as quick as possible. Okay, we got him. We're gonna set him in the sink, and we're gonna start filling the sink up right now. He's still totally lifeless when we hold him like this. Oh my gosh, guys, look at him. He's twitching. He's twitching back to life. What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are having just an absolutely amazing day. I hope everyone had an absolutely amazing Christmas. My Christmas was great. I got to spend it with the family. We did a bunch.
I didn't do much for Christmas. Save the butterflies, barbecue at iguana. I hear iguanas actually taste really good. I don't know, but I've heard.
Great stuff. But for today's video, well, last night it was down to 43 degrees.
Uranus.
And what does that mean? Well, in Florida, that means it was pretty darn cold for all of us, and it means iguanas are falling from the trees. Here in Florida, we have invasive green iguanas, and when it gets down into the low 40s, well, the iguanas start getting cold stunned, they start falling from the trees, and they're basically lifeless. They're basically in a coma, and when they actually warm back up, they come back to life, but some of them are not so lucky. So we're actually going to be going to the back side of my property today to see if we can find some of these green iguanas that are cold stunned, fallen from the trees, and we're going to reheat these iguanas back to life. It is going to be absolutely insane. I've never reheated an iguana back to life. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But before we do that, well, we've got some updates. I've got to show you guys.
He says absolutely as much as I do.
Some stuff. So if you look right here, I've got this big, incredible enclosure here. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like much right now at this point. But this is actually a big corn crib, and it's got this big roof right here. So I'm going to put in the avocado grove, and because there are some canals nearby, I actually have iguanas that wander into my yard. I see them up on the front of my property, and I also see them back here in the avocado grove. And avocado season, the avocados literally come tumbling down, and they're all over the ground, and the iguanas here actually love to eat them, and at nighttime, they hang up in the trees. They hang out now. Oh my gosh. Look at that. I just walked into a spider web. This is a little crab spider. Guys, I'm normally afraid of spiders, but these right here, I'm not really afraid of. Okay, and then he just fell. He left. Okay, let's get this spider web out of here. So we should have a pretty good chance of finding some iguanas. It's only 50 degrees out right now. It's a little bit cold for me, and it's windy, so we should have some iguanas that... Wait, I see it on the camera. There. Oh, I see one. Oh my gosh, look. Guys, our first cold stun iguana. I saw him literally in the lens. I saw the change of green. Oh my gosh, is this guy okay? Oh, this one looks like he's totally... Looks like he didn't make it. It looks like he totally froze over. Look at his eyes. His eyes are a little cloudy, and when they turn this dark brown color, that means that they didn't make it. This guy was frozen to death in the cold last night. This is so terrible to see. Now, iguanas are an invasive species, but I don't like to see them die. I absolutely love it.
Right, there's lots of channels that you can watch of iguana. Like there's one called the Iguana Man, and most of their channel is them shooting iguanas with rifles and bows and things like that, and killing them. I have a soft spot for iguanas, so it makes me sad.
iguanas. Well, this guy is full of mites, and well, there's some native raccoons and possums that would probably love to snack on an iguana, so we're just gonna leave that little guy right there, you know. Normally I do bury them, but I do have raccoons and possums here, and I'd rather them, you know, munch on a dead iguana than eat some of my own lizards. So now that we found that little guy, it's really sad that he did not make it. Sorry about the light. Oh my gosh. Well, we're off to actually a pretty good start. Number one, because that green iguana is invasive, you know, he's really not supposed to be here. And two, we know that there are iguanas here, and last night it got really cold. So we're gonna continue the search in the avocado grove back here, and hopefully we'll find some iguanas we can save. Well, I've been searching back here for probably about 30 minutes now. I really haven't seen anything else. I saw one iguana like way up, but that tree is like, he's like way up on the top of that tree, and I'm definitely not climbing up there, but I recruited the help of my dad and my grandpa because this is 2 acres of avocado grove. It's, you know, a lot of area back here. So I recruited them. They're looking as well, all up in the branches, because when these iguanas are frozen, they're gonna be stunted in place. They're either gonna... You got one?
Yay, get one.
Really? Yeah. Okay, so like I was saying, the iguanas will be either frozen in place or they're gonna fall down. Let's see. Sorry, it's really bright. Oh yeah, look at them. Guys, look at it. Wait, let's adjust the lighting. Look at them, guys. There's an iguana right up in those trees. Well, I'm passing the camera off to my dad. I'm gonna climb up right now. We're gonna go as quick as possible. Okay, we got him.
If he's frozen, why'd you have to snatch him so fast, hon? If he was gonna run away, he looks bright and green.
I think he's alive. I'm not sure if he's totally dead because, like you guys saw the other one was totally dead. His eyelid's barely working. If you look at his eyelid, it's barely opening. Guys, this iguana's alive, but he could be too severely stunted, guys. So we're gonna have to take this guy inside right now, and we're gonna put him in the sink, and we're gonna slowly warm the water and hopefully bring him back to life.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
All right, guys, we're back in the kitchen, and we're gonna actually get ready to reheat this iguana back. And I decided the best way to do it is actually we're gonna stick him in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do, guys. Let's go over. We're gonna stick him in the microwave right now. We're just gonna, no, guys, I'm just kidding with you guys. I would never do that to a poor iguana. We're gonna heat him up in the sink. I decided to do the Zach Ketchum method, do the same exact thing. So we're just gonna take him right here. We're gonna put him in the sink right now. And we're gonna turn the water to warm. Now, the one thing is, whenever you're reheating any stunned animals is you never ever want to immediately give them the hottest water, because then you'll put them into shock. They're going from really cold to really hot. You don't want to do that. You want to gradually raise the temperature, and that is how you successfully do it without killing the animal, is by gradually moving them from cold to warm. So we're going to set this guy right here. I'm sorry, buddy. We're going to set him in the sink, and we're going to start filling the sink up right now. We're on the warm setting right now. We're just going to kind of move over to the mid setting, and we're just going to wait for this water to warm up. And hopefully once the water warms, we'll be able to bring the iguana back to life. We're actually slowly warming this water up, and the iguana is starting to move. Look at him. Look at him. He's starting to come back to life. Look at it. He's still totally frozen, as you can see. He's still totally lifeless when we hold him like this, but I feel, if you guys could feel him right now, he's giving off some muscle spasms, his dewlap.
I guarantee that iguana's like, as soon as I get thawed out, I'm gonna bite your fingers for doing this, for twisting me all around and hanging me by my tail.
Is moving, so we're just gonna put him back in, and we're gonna rest.
That's because they have iron teeth there, Titan. Nutria, they got iron in those teeth, like a beaver.
Rest him right up here. By resting him up here, he's not gonna actually drown, but we're just gonna slowly warm him back.
Nutria kind of look like little capybaras.
Back up, guys, and we're gonna see if we can save his life. Oh, I feel him vibrating. So guys, what I want you to do right now is go comment down below a name for this little iguana right now. You know, when we're done with him, we're not gonna be able to re-release him into the wild. That is because green iguanas are an invasive species. If we were to re-release him back into the wild, well, that's illegal to do so. So we're gonna have to find a home for him. So we're gonna, oh my gosh, guys, look at him. He's twitching. He's twitching back to life.
Put him back in the water.
He's coming back to life. Look at him. He's moving.
Oh, put him back.
This is incredible. Look at him.
He's
moving. We're bringing him back to life. This is insane. Okay, we're gonna put him back in the water. Guys, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I have never reheated an iguana back to life, but this is so cool to actually save this iguana right here. And not only are we saving his life, but we're also removing an invasive species from the environment. My method is working. The warming method is working.
Look at those
He's
legs.
slowly coming back to life. Look at this. He still hasn't gained oh, his eyes just opened for the first time. His eye just opened up and he is slowly moving. We're literally reheating stone cold, frozen, lifeless iguanas back to life. We're gonna put him back in here again, and we're just gonna slowly start taking that water and we're gonna move it on him. And guys, I'm thinking in about 10 to 15 minutes, this guy is going to be reheated. We left the water here. Now we're just gonna turn the water back on. We're gonna move him and we're gonna get it a little bit warmer. The water could be slightly warmer. And by warming the water, we're gonna warm him more and bring him back to life. Guys, I have some incredible news. If you look towards the front of his legs, look, he's starting to breathe again. Before he wasn't breathing, but now he's taking large, deep breaths. So that means his organs are starting to work. Oh my gosh, he's coming back. Hi, buddy. Oh my gosh, he's moving. He's back to life. Check this out. The iguana has been revived. He hasn't gained full momentum, but as you can see, he's active, he's back moving, and he is gonna be just okay. From what I see, he was just cold stunned. This happens every year in Florida. But let's head out right now over to my pool deck so you guys can see him in the full light. I'm so happy we were able to revive him. We're gonna bring him on out just like this, and you guys can truly see right now. Let's set him up right here. We're gonna set him up right here in the sun, and you guys are gonna be able to see right there that he is back to life. He is completely revived. He's a little bit tame right now, but this obviously is a wild iguana. So this guy is not going to stay tame for long. I'm sure soon enough he's gonna want to run. And guys, I'm so glad we were able to revive this iguana, and I actually have a friend that has been wanting a new pet iguana. So I'm actually gonna give him a call up, and we are going to place this iguana in a great home where he's gonna live the rest of his life, because again, we cannot re-release these back into the wild because they are an invasive species. And that, my friends, is going to end today's episode. I hope all of you did enjoy watching today's video where we actually revived this green iguana back to life. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below what you thought about reheating this frozen iguana back to life. And guys, if you are not subscribed already, you want to see more crazy animal rescues, you want to see tigers, lions, turtles, and tortoises, well, what are you waiting for? Go right now and hit that subscribe button and tap that little notification bell, and you all will be notified whenever I post.
All right. Now I'm just going to watch a couple videos of people getting whacked by iguanas and iguanas being cool. Now, marine iguana is my favorite lizard, a marine iguana, but I love just iguanas in general. I love them. They make me want to eat veggies.
Look how big he is. That's a big dog. He's like, this guy's going, what are you doing messing with me, man?
He just drew his tail back.
I guess he thinks he's saving him. I'm not crossing the street. He's messing around. Hey.
Yep, there you go.
That tail. Hey.
He's gonna get ya.
Hey. I hit you with that tail. Hey.
Yeah. Kid seemed like his heart's in the right place to mommy. I think, yeah, I didn't know, hanging up by its tail and stuff like that, just to show how frozen it was. I don't think he needed to do that, but I get why he did. Yeah, you keep walking, homie. Keep walking.
Gotta go.
All right, there's that. Yeah, here we go. We'll play this one again with sound. This is about the invasion of the Florida.
Giant bull iguana. Yeah, guys. So today on my adventure over here in the park in Las Olas, and decided to come out here and see what was going on. Now, I know this is by the ocean, by the water in our coastal, lots of trees, lots of rocks. So, I figured lots of big iguanas hanging out over here. Surprisingly, there's a lot of people and a lot of traffic. So I wasn't really expecting much. Oh, hey guys. But I was surprised at what I seen, guys. This place, like every other place by water, is infested with green iguanas. On the side note, remember these are invasive species to South Florida, and these animals cause a lot of devastation.
You see them running already.
Droppings, a lot of deterioration due to infrastructure,
up in the trees,
banks, rocks, bridges, jetties. You know, and there's nothing natural out here hunting these creatures. So I decided to come just to take a look, and see if I can see any. And like I said, guys, the place was literally infested with them, crawling everywhere.
And this is the Iguana Man video, like before we really started doing the iguana
iguanas have
capture for
evolved
full
too,
time.
you know what I'm saying? Like the Galapagos iguanas. Some are evolved to marine life, some have evolved to desert life, some have evolved to freshwater life. But you see, these are marine ones. And if you guys take a closer glimpse right here, you guys are gonna see a dead one floating.
Okay,
right here.
these are not marine iguanas. These are green iguanas, not marine iguanas. Just to be clear.
Don't know how he expired, but you know, he's over there just floating, rotting away. Not the most prettiest sight or the best smell. But on my hunt, you know, I was just looking for any big ones. I did see a few of them, you know what I'm saying? But I was really looking for some hot spots. We have another couple of curly-tailed invasive lizards, but mainly the green iguana right here, and that's a female right there, making eggs, reproducing
Everything you've
like
shown's been
crazy.
female, looks like.
There's nothing really out here stopping these things, guys, and you guys might think it's cruel that I'm out here catching them, but really, I just want you guys to be in check with realistically how many numbers and how out of control this problem really is. Florida has thousands and thousands of coastline, guys, and all I footage
Thousands
is
and
just
thousands of coastline, of miles of coastline, maybe.
a couple hundred of it. So I don't even touch, you know, the main. What you guys see is there goes an iguana nest right there. See, but what you guys are seeing right now is just basically a couple percentiles of actually the real damage about what's taking place over here. So I try to show you. There goes more iguana nests. I try to show you guys first person, you know, view on you know, the real problem over here.
Some ducks. There's that big male iguana. Go over there and get whacked. Whoop-ah! Smack you with that tail. Big males get aggressive when they're orange like that. Kind of like when an elephant has that stuff dripping down the side of its head. It means don't mess with it.
They're not interested in it, honey. They're just curious. See the black one? He's acting like, oh, let me see what's around here. He's gonna try to step on it. Oh wow.
Kitties are curious.
Oh my. That's like a lasso.
Yeah, I'd be get you whacked in the face. He's lining up that gray cat. So come a little bit closer. That's a male too. You can tell by his taller spikes on his head. And it's oh, think you're gonna sneak around, huh? Oh, come get it. Kitties. Kitties, kitties. Two invasive species. Which one wins? Cats win. Iguanas, though, are one of our cats' kind of weakness, though. Like, cats are destructive against most species, but they have kind of a poor showing against iguanas. Iguanas can't kill cats either, but like the cats have a hard time taking iguanas. I think it's because the iguanas fight back and they use their tails. And it upsets the cat. In their natural habitat, they have, oh, you're gonna make it lose its tail, lady. Don't do that. No. Don't stop. You're trying to make it lose its tail. Stop it. Oh. Why? Stop it. You're not going to pull their tails off. All right, that's probably good for today. Did have one more topic on the docket, but I can save that for next week. It was one that somebody sent me from the Hive, so you will get your topic covered. Don't worry, but just not going to be able to make it on today is because we're already 22 minutes over the scheduled show. So Thank you so much for sticking with me, though. It's been a real blast hanging out with you guys today. As always, please remember to be kind and take care, and we'll see you next time.